Hello and welcome to the Modern Customer Podcast. I'm your host, Blake Morgan. Today I'm talking with Sheila Stoneham, CMO for retailer Chico's. Chico's has recently launched a very unique YouTube video about age positivity, and this video I really love. I think it's a really unique marketing approach to women, and I think we have a lot to talk about today when it comes to women customer experience and marketing. Clearly, it's a unique environment. There's a lot of positives that come with today's environment. I think social media has generated a lot of awareness about empowering and embracing and accepting what makes us unique and authentic. Today, I talk with Sheila about how Chico's has created a marketing strategy geared toward the aging female consumer, aging and beautiful. And you'll learn about how this has informed her marketing approach for Chico's and some of the successes they've had. Let's get to it. Sheila, welcome to the Modern Customer Podcast. So excited to have you here to talk about women and marketing.
It's my absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
So Sheila, this week I was really impressed and surprised by the Chico's Bold campaign, the YouTube video where you had an influencer out on the streets asking women, would they wear their age on their shirt? And I thought this was such a cool idea and really positive. Can you share with our listeners the inspiration behind this new marketing program that you've launched?
Well, we started this journey about a year ago, and our research told us that we have really high brand awareness, but low consideration. And so we have a very devoted customer base, and we are a 35-year-old brand, so we feel very blessed about that. But we realize that we really need to have other women view our brand as something which they would consider. So we had to figure out a way to help overcome the hurdle of getting new customers to consider us. And so in order to do that, we realized that today it's not enough to just talk about your product, but actually customers, and particularly women, care about your brand purpose. They want a brand to stand for something and to be able to relate to it. So it's a higher order thing than just what you're selling or the experience you're offering. And we know our customer really well. Our customer is a woman, usually in her 40s or older, whose body is changing. And as a woman of that age, I certainly know that things don't necessarily get easier as you get older when it comes to finding that which helps to define your style when it comes to clothes and styling and so on. So what we decided to do is we decided to take a stand for age positivity. And this is an idea that the AND Partnership, our agency, conceived. And they came up with this line, which is, how bold are you? And we thought it was the perfect message for us because we believe that women are getting bolder, not older. And frankly, it's a perfect fit not only with our target, but also our clothes are bold. We have great colors and prints. They're iconic. And so I don't know if you know this, but there was a recent report in the New York Times that women are most comfortable with themselves when they're 60 years old. So that just reinforces that we're on the right track, I think, which is the goal was really to shift the perception of the brand. And frankly, it's been really successful so far. We feel very blessed.
Yeah, because in the last few years, Sheila, there's been a lot of PR and positive, like Instagram role models around women of size. But there's been some documentaries made, and I know it's more mainstream to have older women in fashion ads, and this is a newer trend because there are a lot of fashion icons now who are getting a lot of attention, probably because of social media, who are older, who are even up into their 90s. But there hasn't been as much attention paid to this idea of ageism and aging gracefully and loving your body and your face as you evolve at each chapter in your life. So what kind of reactions did you have from this program either from consumers or the media? What did people think?
Well, it's interesting because we thought we were onto something, but you don't ever really know until you launch. So that's such a great question. And what we found is that our customers and the media responded really favorably. They felt that there was an authenticity to it because we were actually tapping into something which the social milieu hasn't, as you said, has not fully recognized yet, but is a reality. And as women get older, they've often tried to do things, so for example, the red hat movement or those sorts of things where women have been trying to say, to still stand as an individual and be strong, despite the fact that as they get older, there often are some perceptions that they should behave differently or dress differently, and we believe that women should behave, dress, express themselves in a way that is true to them, regardless of their age or stage of life. Celebrate whatever age or stage they're at.
Yeah, it's interesting. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and CoverGirl, and not to knock them, but all these makeup brands, they're constantly advertising, even today still, this anti-aging, which part of me as an aging woman wants to buy it. And then part of me thinks, this is ridiculous. Aging is part of life. Why are you trying to stop something that is natural and you can't stop it? So it's sort of ridiculous at this point that so many brands still feed women these lies. And we know, I think on some level, we know these are lies. But I think we're ready for this fresh approach where it's all about honesty, it's all about authenticity, it's about being real. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
I think you're absolutely right. It's not like we're not talking about fighting looking your age. In fact, what we're saying is embrace it, and leverage that energy towards efforts that are meaningful to you. Women actually, I think, get a whole lot more interesting as they get older because their life experiences come through, and there's a wisdom, and there's a confidence, and there is a perspective that is, frankly, I find quite appealing. And so it's time for women to stop thinking that they need to look like their 20-year-old self when they're 50, and nor should women feel like they shouldn't be doing certain things just because they're a certain age. So an example of that would be a personal example, and I hope you don't mind me diverging for just a moment, but I was scuba diving with my daughter in Bermuda a year and a half ago, and the dive instructor said, "Oh, it's pretty rough water. You ladies, we're going to cancel the dive." And we only had last day to dive. And I'm an advanced scuba diver. I've been diving for a long time. I do cave dives at night and that sort of thing. My daughter's a less experienced diver, obviously given her age. But anyway, my daughter said, I think I'm up for it. Mom, what about you? And I said, I'm in. If you're in, I'm in. And we had the most memorable dive of our lives because we were together. We did these incredible caves, and it was physically challenging and mentally challenging. And they just assumed that because we were women, we wouldn't want to do it. And forget that. And just because I'm not a 20-something-year-old doesn't mean to say that I would shy away from an adventure myself. So
I love that story. And I think it's so healthy for younger women, too, when they see older women embracing who they are, not trying to be younger. It's so tough because with reality TV today too, it's just so pervasive. This, you have these women, they're getting older. They look like their skin have no wrinkles. They've got maybe plastic surgery. It's a weird message to send to even women in their 30s. Like, I'm in my 30s and some of my friends are starting to do Botox and things. And, I don't want to send that message to my own daughter that, I feel proud that I'm starting to age a bit because I feel like I've earned it.
Well, and absolutely, these are badges of honor. And I think that there's it's interesting because you were talking a little bit earlier about our brand and why we're doing what we're doing. And part of it is because of our target and resonating with our target. But we truly believe what we're saying. And the clothes are one part of self-expression. But the way they're put together is another part of self-expression. So we have what we call the most amazing personal service, which is really a key differentiator for us in the marketplace, because our stylists are trained to help our customers put together their outfits so they feel and look as beautiful on the outside as they feel on the inside. And these associates are carefully selected to have a high level of sort of sensitivity and training to be able to connect fairly quickly with our customers or potential customers and support them to play a supporting role in their life.
That's beautiful. And I think that's a huge theme in business today, that companies that are willing to go above and beyond with personalization, with these added services, differentiate themselves rather than when a customer walks into a store and they're ignored and they're not given any type of special attention. The personalization, I believe, will win every time.
I believe so too. And, it's a lot of things can be matched, but I think what we crave and what we know from our research is our customers and others like them crave the personal touch. They crave that which is relevant to them. And it's more than just the clothes or getting what they need through the channel or communicating in a way that is most convenient. Convenience is one thing, but there's something extra special about giving a customer something which makes them feel like you know them and you care about them. So our associates will spend time asking our customers questions. Often, they build relationships that are decades long. It is remarkable. I've never seen anything like it.
So do you often go to the stores and you're seeing this for yourself in the stores?
I absolutely have. I was in a store once where a customer was coming in and she was going to a bridal rehearsal dinner, and she was really nervous about what she was going to wear. And she went to her favorite associate who said, absolutely, we've got you covered, and asked her a few questions. And she left feeling she went from being nervous to feeling really good about and looking forward to the event. And frankly, it just brought tears to my eyes, because that kind of transformation it's special and it's rare. That level of personalization and care is rare these days.
So that's awesome that this in-store experience is really this supreme premier experience for your customer. Do you do a similar type of activity on your website? Do your customers go to your website to buy clothes? What's your digital experience like?
It's interesting. We have, so first of all, we have this, as I said, the most amazing personal service in store. Customers often call our call center and our customer care, and they get the same kind of personal service over the phone, and they have for decades, which is pretty remarkable in and of itself. Now we are looking to extend the service through our e-commerce platform. And we are in a pilot right now, and we'll be looking to expand that based on the learnings we get from that market.
And what was it like when you set out to work on the e-commerce? Is this something you inherited or launched? Could you talk about your approach?
We're actually in the test phases. This is not something we inherited. This is something which is being developed, because it's the one-to-one service that we provide with our associates and our customers. We know that we need to be able to scale this and make it even. Some of our newer customers are looking to be able to speak to their stylist off hours, or for them, they may work different hours, different days, or whatever else, and they have this relationship, so they want to be able to communicate anywhere, anytime, any place, and this helps to provide that.
And Sheila, do you have oversight over the other brands as well, such as White House Black Market and Soma?
No, I don't. But I work very closely with my colleagues at White House and Soma.
So I'm curious to know, you talked a bit about customer data at the beginning of the podcast. Is there anything you could share with us about customer data, about the women that shop Chico's, what you've learned, what you want to know more of, and how it's helpful for you in your marketing strategy?
Yes, well, we actually just completed some shop-along research last month, and we're constantly, and we have brand trackers, so we have a customer panel. We go out to our customers relatively frequently, just to understand, are we delivering what is most important to them? What can we do to fine-tune their experience with us? How can we offer service and product that is going to further enhance their lifestyle? And frankly, when the brand launched 35 years ago, many more of our customers were not working. It's probably 50-50 probably back then. And now most of our customers are working at least part-time. And so their lifestyle has changed. Their need for different type of product solutions has changed. Some things haven't changed. For example, we always want things that make us look slimmer.
Right, of course.
So we've introduced products and continue to introduce new products that give us that reflect our So Slimming technology. We have this favorite pant called the Juliet. Now we've introduced it with So Slimming panel in it, and it's just, we can't keep it in the store. So we think about what is most important to them. I mean, we also have a product line called Travelers, and Travelers can be washed out in the sink, hung up, and it doesn't wrinkle. You can put it in a knapsack if you want to, and it wouldn't wrinkle. That's another collection which historically was used, but customers loved it. Well, now we have newer customers who are wearing it to work, and we're refining some of the silhouettes to reflect her new life, her evolved lifestyle. So we really think about what our customer is doing and how she's using our products. We have these. I'll give you an example. Another example is reversible tanks, and how great is that? I mean, in terms of value for money, or even packing, you can wear it one day, wash it out, turn around, and it's a whole new top the next day. Like so we're constantly listening to our customers about what they're doing, what they need, and then feeding that information to our product, our development team, our design team, our merchants, and of course in marketing, making sure that we speak to her in a way that is relevant. Another thing is we just launched, another example of this would be in terms of channel. We know that our customers get a lot of emails, and they often feel like they don't want to miss communication from us. We've now introduced SMS, so we're able to message them, which is great too. And you'd be blown away if I told you how many customers are signing up each day.
So give us an example of what you would say on a text message.
We would tell them when a new product line is being launched. We have a new collection coming in, and eventually we are moving towards even more personalized communications. That is our plan. But we just launched it a few weeks ago, so.
Yeah, I get it, because I personally am a very loyal shopper. Like, there are a few brands that I really only buy from, and I don't like getting a lot of email, but I open those newsletters almost every day to see what the new fashion is, because these are brands that really add value to my life. My job is a professional speaker. I have to be on a stage, and these dresses that are made, I'll tell you the brands, Karen Millen and Reese, they really... They're Karen Millen, they call it armor for their women customers, because we all need good armor when we go out into the world. And if you're really providing such value, of course these customers are going to be willing to get text messages from you, almost like you're their friend.
Well, they do view us as, it's interesting. So I was talking about those relationships that our associates have with their customers. Well, that's the same thing. I think the reason why they develop the relationships, and what we are looking to offer in other channels, is an extension of that, which is give me content that's relevant to me. So if our customer, one of our top selling pants is the Juliet. When we launched the So Slimming panel, so you no longer have to wear anything underneath it to make you look your best self from every angle. Our customers, we launched it. That's big news, because you get more of what you like, and new colors, new silhouettes, and as I said, this new panel, this new solution. And so what we know is that our customers, as long as we give them relevant information, then they are delighted to hear from us.
Right. By giving them relevance, you're earning a place in their lives, just like a friend would.
Yes, and we take that relationship very seriously, and are careful about what we say, and curate our content. So another example is Facebook and Instagram. These are very active channels for us, and so we sometimes put quotes. Sometimes we show a great outfit that's shoppable. Sometimes we feature our social media influencers. I mean, speaking of which, we've got a whole tribe of social media influencers. We call them our tribe, because they're reflective of our customer base. And so they're not one age, they're not one size, they're not one ethnicity, but they are women who share a common spirit. They're bold women that we all want to know a little bit more about.
I love this idea of the bold woman. I've always tried to find women at resources, entertainment. It might sound weird, but like obsessively looking for examples of bold women, because I always wanted to be bold and surround myself. And you almost have to try hard to find it in today's world, because there is still a lot of entertainment where they create female characters that are weak, that don't have, like, there's so many stats that show that a lot of women in movies don't even have speaking parts. Like, if you break it down, I think normally women have 20, 30%, if that, of the speaking parts in the movies. So you almost have to try, but that's the beauty of social media, is now, we get to decide who we follow, who we see. Advertising is no longer, you no longer have to watch advertising to find the content that you're looking for.
Well, and the way we see it is the importance of taking the positive angle. Like, this whole idea of one has to be frozen in time, look like they're frozen in time, and the notion of anti-aging, fight it, is just not our brand. We don't believe that. We believe that you should feel good about yourself. You should embrace life, live life to the fullest, and whatever age or stage you're at. And so our customers span decades, right? They really do. They often enter the brand when they're about 40 and stay with us, because there is something empowering about being with other, connecting with a brand, connecting with other women that are like-minded. And the energy, if you're not trying to fight aging, you put that energy towards living your best life, it's going to be, it's a good thing, don't you think?
Yeah, you'll be scuba diving caves at night in the Bahamas. You're brave. I don't think I would do that.
You know what? I have to tell you that when my daughter said, Mom, like, I'm in, I was so proud of her because, part of, I think, being a good parent is raising your child and then launching them. And you hope they're going to be brave. Not silly, but brave. And the fact that she wanted to do this with me was just, she still talks about it. It was pretty spectacular. She said, and all those other people, they backed out and we jumped in, Mom, into those waves and the current was strong. We had to get under the water really quickly. So we didn't lose each other. Those are moments that define and make a good life. Don't you think?
The
big ones, the little ones.
I do. I do love this idea. I love this idea of supporting and empowering and creating this idea of a bold woman. I think it's a really positive message that every brand that cares about their female customers needs to think about, who is she? What message does she need to hear to be a bit of a warrior in her life? Because I think there is a lot of negativity when it comes to women and their looks. And I think we're all ready for more positive examples of women and seeing women out, living their best lives despite whatever might seem as a barrier. It actually can work for them, even aging.
Do you also think that we have a responsibility to be the shadow? To set the example for the next generation?
Oh, yes. My daughter's only 2, and I'm already thinking of how I can train her to be brave, to be bold. I really think if you go out into the world and you are bold, it's less dangerous than if you're trying to be someone that you're not, or you're a shell. Because I think having a voice and standing up for something, it's just a happier life as well. And you're more successful out in the world.
I remember when I was in university, my father said to me, I was running for student council to be head of the faculty of science. And I said to my father, I don't have time to campaign as hard as I would like to. And he said, well, I'll tell you one thing, Sheila. If you don't try, I can promise you won't be on the student council. Still think about that today. He was absolutely right. If you don't go for it, you absolutely are going to fail.
Yeah. And I think that being bold, being willing to take a risk, it's important. And if you have self-esteem, I had this realization after my 20s, if you think you're worth it, you will spend the time to focus so you can, and you will stand up, and you will put yourself out there and dive into the caves because you think you can. And so you'll try harder and you'll get more wins because you'll work on it and you'll focus. And that's like an epiphany I had as a young woman. I hope my daughter realizes that much earlier.
Well, we can only do our best. I think the other thing about being in our, as we get older, is we realize that which we're not good at, and we embrace that as well. And we just don't let it bother us too much.
Oh, interesting. What do you mean? Can you give us an example?
You know what? None of us are going to get taller. If you're 5'2", you're going to be 5'2". Just let it go, and find that which is most flattering for your petite figure. And we often petites, by the way. Or
perfect.
If you, the point is, we are who we are. For example, I'll give a personal example. I am a terrible driver. Terrible. I'm thrilled when my insurance gets renewed each year. And I'm a terrible cook. People never come to our house for the food. I guess I should be flattered that they like the company, but that's the way I look at it. I'm a terrible cook, and it's the way it is. And so I think that there's a sort of a self-acceptance that comes with a certain age, and we just embrace it. And I think it's time. Don't waste your energy on those things which are never going to be necessarily your strengths. or you can't do anything about. So we have some customers, who might say, oh, I don't like my blank. Well, we have all sorts of really flattering shapes because we really understand our customer and understand that as you get older, often your metabolism slows down, you've got life changes, and you may not have the figure you had when you were younger. That's okay too. We want you to feel great. And we've got fantastic, as I said, these solutions and silhouettes and fabrics that drape, and we have we've got some styling secrets that make our customer leave feeling like they can't wait to come back. And genuine truth.
That's awesome. I love that. And I love this point of don't fight what you're not good at. Just learn to accept it. You even are laughing at yourself that you're not a great cook. And I think when you get to that point in life, which usually it is when you're a little older, life just gets so much better because you stop resisting everything and you just kind of roll with it, which is just a more pleasant way to be.
Well, it's like telling everyone that, you have to be, there are no super moms anymore. There are no super women. We all make choices in life. And we have to be able to live with those choices we make. And I think the energy put against trying to be something that society is suggesting you should be is just counterproductive. Instead, focus on that which gives you joy. Focus on that which gives you purpose in life. And let the rest go. Let someone else apply their own rules to focus our energy elsewhere.
Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, Sheila. I hope someday we can have coffee and talk more about this awesome program that you've pioneered, and I think it's really great what you're doing.
Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure to speak with you, and I look forward to meeting you someday. Take care.
Okay, and for all of you, you've been listening to the Modern Customer Podcast. Please stop by Chico's and see what all the wonderful fuss is about that Sheila and I have been chatting about. Until next time.